Anything exciting happen at the hub?
I shot a superior officer in the chest.
Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. This week on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we got a big guest star, Victoria Hand from the MCU. The science team took the lead again, and we got some more backstory on Skye. So let's talk about our favorite moments, and then I'll do my review. First off, Simmons' spycraft and Simmons' sandwichcraft. She is the true genius of this episode. Since these guys are the science team, they basically get most of the comedic roles, and they were totally up to the challenge in this episode. Next up, Coulson versus Victoria Hand. If you're not familiar with the character from the MCU, she rose to power during Norman Osborn's tour at the head of S.H.I.E.L.D., or whenever it became Hammer. She's loyal to Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D., but you can kind of think of her as like an evil version of Kobe Spolder's Maria Hill. Like they said during the episode several times, trust the system. They said it so many times, it basically lets you know that you're not supposed to trust the system. It's part of the Winter Soldier plot, but this stratification of information in these levels, 7, 8, I'm sure all the way up to 10, basically make it so that people can get away with things and everyone else won't find out. By the time we get to Winter Soldier in the spring, that basically will be the plot. Will be Captain America and Nick Fury trying to get rid of that element inside of S.H.I.E.L.D. But without the culture of secrecy, we would not have had that Simmons spycraft moment. That was so amazing. I am totally hoping that Simmons gets to go on more field missions in the future. Skye learned a little bit more about her backstory, but not at the expense of Ward and Fitz, so I think she really is back on Team Coulson. I think a lot of people wondered about her loyalty after she betrayed the team in that previous episode, but moments like this where she basically stops and thinks of others before herself really lets you know that she does care about all these people. But on all of my favorite moments were Fitz and Simmons moments. I tend to think more of the comedic and character interaction moments than I do of the action sequences. There were a few ridiculous action sequences I'll talk about during my review that I didn't really care for. But the really big question after this episode, who is going to post that pesto sandwich recipe online? It would not be a Marvel show though if they did not reference big things from the MCU. So Black Widow, Hawkeye, and the Triskelion got big name drops during the episode. Hopefully we will see the Triskelion during Captain America the Winter Soldier, just because it's such an epic thing that it would be way too expensive to show during a TV show. But I don't think we will be seeing Hawkeye or Black Widow on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. anytime soon either. In reference to Skye's backstory, because we saw that dead woman in that final picture, I think that was actually Skye's mother. That means that her father could actually be a villain, so I'm guessing that S.H.I.E.L.D. agent that dropped her off was actually sent to kill them on a mission. The jury's still out on the true identity of her parents, but remember that date, 1989, that was what she was looking at, so think about big Marvel villains that were active in the comic books during 1989. Speaking of other big references, the big Thor crossover is next week. That episode is going to be directed by Jonathan Frakes from Star Trek The Next Generation, so I am totally hoping for some hilarious Star Trek references. Be sure to subscribe to get my video. I think some of the complaints against the show in the first couple of episodes is that it was kind of avoiding a lot of integration with the larger MCU, either because it was trying to set itself apart, or it just didn't want to get too bogged down in a lot of the canon. But I think they listened to a lot of notes, so I think we will start seeing a lot more references to larger things going on in the MCU from now on out. But what did I think of the episode? Overall, I rated it a B. I am totally loving Fitz and Simmons right now. They are my favorite characters on the show after Coulson and May. Compared to them, Ward and Skye really just seem like the most boring characters ever, so I'm really hoping that changes the next couple of episodes, because those two characters just don't feel like they have the backstory or the relationship that Fitz and Simmons have. One of my few complaints against the episode was that the jet rescue at the end was just a little too over the top. It was just a little too ridiculous, using the jet stream to blow characters around on screen. But like I said, I really did like that they're starting to work in Marvel MCU plots into the show. But forget about that Winter Soldier plot for now, because next week the Thunder is coming. I don't think we'll be having a Thor cameo, but the story will work with the story from Thor the Dark World, so it'll be a lot of fun. Don't forget, I'm also doing a bunch of special Doctor Who programming this week. Right now you can click here to find out about that, and you can click here to learn all about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this season. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. High fives.